Good morning. Welcome to the Development Services Department hearing for December 18th, 2024. My name is Patricia Bautista, and I am the hearing officer with the Development Services Department. Joining us today is Deputy City Attorney Noah Brazier and Benjamin Haffertepe, representing the Development Service Department's Project Management Division. Now, Mr. Haffertepe with a procedural announcement.
Good morning. Until further notice, hearing officer meetings will be conducted pursuant to the provisions of California Government Code Section 54953A as amended by Assembly Bill 2249, which allows the public to participate in person as well as a hybrid format. The hearing officer meeting will be participating in person, and the meeting will be open for in-person testimony. If you're in person, please make sure you complete a speaker slip if you wish to speak. In-person testimony will be concluded before virtual testimony begins. In lieu of in-person attendance, members of the public may participate and provide comment via telephone, Zoom, using the hearing officer web form, or via U.S. mail of written materials to the hearing officer as noted on the webpage. The public may view the hearing officer meeting at the scheduled date and time on the City of San Diego's YouTube website, City of San Diego Public Hearings. Members of the public can offer public comment on non-agenda or an agenda item by joining the webinar by using a desktop, computer, laptop, tablet, or smartphone by accessing the link, which is listed online in the preamble language of the agenda on the hearing officer webpage, or by calling 1-669-254-5252 with webinar ID number 161-383-1565. This information is also on the agenda and will appear on the screen during the public comment period for each item. Please note that if you are watching online, there may be a 30-second delay. Please participate via audio on your phone and mute your TV or computer when it's your turn to speak. When the hearing officer introduces the item you would like to comment on, raise your hand by either tapping the Raise Your Hand button on your computer, tablet, or smartphone, or by dialing *9 on your phone. You'll be taken in the order in which you raise your hand. You may only speak once on a particular item. When the hearing officer indicates it's your turn to speak, click the unmute prompt that will appear on your computer, tablet, or smartphone, or dial *6 on your phone. Those participating virtually may not cede time to others participating in person or virtually. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Haffertepe. This morning, I will be considering applications for development permits that the San Diego Municipal Code identifies for resolution by hearing officer in accordance with Decision Process 3, as referenced in Section 112-0501 of the Land Development Code. The decisions made on projects today may be appealed to the Planning Commission. The appeals must be filed by close of business within 10 business days of today's date. This means that an appeal must be filed by close of business on Friday, January 3rd, 2025. The appeal must be filed on the proper forms located on the Development Services website. Additionally, the certification of the environmental documents may be appealed to the City Council. The appeals must also be filed within 10 business days of today's date. The appeal must be filed on the proper forms located on the City Clerk's website. All the approvals will become effective 10 business days from today's date, as long as no appeals are filed. However, no building permits may be obtained until the permits and resolutions are signed, notarized, and returned to the Development Services Department for recordation with the County Recorder. Prior to today's hearing, I have reviewed all staff reports, environmental documents, draft findings, and conditions, as well as all written correspondence, and I am familiar with each of the project sites. So as a reminder, before we proceed, if you're on the Zoom call, please mute yourself unless you're called upon to speak. And if you're here in person, please ensure that your cell phones are muted. So at this point, we'll open up public comment. Is there anyone that would like to speak on an issue within the jurisdiction of the hearing officer that is not related to one of the projects on today's docket? We'll give a couple moments. I'm seeing none, and I did not receive correspondence of any kind. So we'll move on to requests for continuances or withdrawals. Are there any requests for continuances or withdrawals? Also seeing none. Okay, so we'll proceed forward with the consent agenda. There will be a consent agenda for projects with no speakers in opposition and no questions from the hearing officer. We'll start with item number 1. This is project number PRJ 1100236. This is 7824 Girard Avenue, coastal development permit number PMT 3246126, and tentative map waiver number PMT 3246127. The city's project manager is May Rowland. Ms. Rowland, is there any reason that this item cannot be placed on the consent agenda?
No,
Okay, perfect.
thank you.
And is there anyone that would like to speak in opposition of this project? I'll give a couple moments. I'm seeing none. So pursuant to section 15301K of the California Environmental Quality Act, the project is categorically exempt from environmental review, and I do recognize that exemption. The project is not pending an appeal of the environmental determination. The environmental determination was made on May 14th, 2024, and the opportunity to appeal that determination ended May 28th, 2024. I can make all the findings necessary to approve project number PRJ 1100236, subject to the conditions contained in the staff report. This decision is final unless appealed to the Planning Commission. Thank you.
Hearing officer.
So with that, we'll move forward with item number 3. This is PRJ 1113811. This is 2664 L Street tentative map waiver number PMT 3297607. The city's project manager is Karen Busey. Ms. Busey, is there any reason that this item cannot be placed on the consent agenda?
Good morning. No, the project may be placed on the consent agenda.
Okay, thank you. And is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition of this project? Give it a couple moments, and I'm seeing none. So pursuant to section 15332 of the California Environmental Quality Act, the project is categorically exempt from environmental review, and I do recognize that exemption. The project is not pending an appeal of the environmental determination. The environmental determination was made on October 2nd, 2024, and the opportunity to appeal that determination ended October 16th, 2024. I can make all the findings necessary to approve project number PRJ 1113811, subject to the conditions contained in the staff report. This decision is final unless appealed to the Planning Commission. Thank you. Okay. And moving on with the consent agenda, we will do item number 4. This is PRJ 1101712. AT&T on 54th Street, conditional use permit number PMT 3245235. The city's project manager is Karen Howard. Ms. Howard, is there any reason that this item cannot be placed on the consent agenda? You need to turn on the microphone.
No.
Okay, thank you. And is there anyone that would like to speak in favor or in opposition of this project? I'm seeing none. So I'll proceed forward with staff's recommendation to approve this project as well. Pursuant to section 15301 of the California Environmental Quality Act, the project is categorically exempt from environmental review, and I do recognize that exemption. The project is not pending an appeal of the environmental determination. The environmental determination was made on June 28th, 2024, and the opportunity to appeal that determination ended July 15th, 2024. I can make all the findings necessary to approve project number PRJ 1101712, subject to the conditions contained in the staff report. This decision is final unless appealed to the Planning Commission. Thank you. Okay, so that concludes our consent agenda, and we'll proceed forward with discussion items. So we have just one. It's item number 2. This is PRJ 1115855. The Sprouts at Horton Plaza offsite alcohol sales conditional use permit number 3292604. The city's project manager is Carly. What is it? Gagin Cheney, is that correct? Okay, so Ms. Gagin Cheney, please proceed forward with a staff report when you're ready.
Can you hear me now? Good morning. My name is Carly Gagan Shaney, Senior Planner with the Urban Innovations Division of Development Services Department. I'll leave this slide up for a second so members of the public can dial in, see the dial-in number and the web ID. Item number 2 is the Sprouts Horton Offsite Alcoholic Beverages Sales, CUP Process 3. In the Center City, CUPs are required for the offsite sale of alcoholic beverages. Item before you is a conditional use permit for the offsite alcoholic beverage sales at a grocery store within a building under redevelopment in the campus at Horton. The address is 200 Horton Plaza, Suite 200. The campus itself is bound by 4th, G Street, 1st Avenue, and Broadway Circle. And the tenant space is located near the southwestern corner of the campus and abuts 1st Avenue. The site is located within the Center City PDO, the Residential Employment Land Use District, and the Horton Gas Lamp neighborhood. On the project location map here, you can see the site is surrounded by a mix of commercial uses and agency uses such as the federal building at 880 Front Street, the hotel adjacent to the north, and the rest of the campus at Horton. In addition, the mixed-use commercial at 770 First Avenue and the 101 West Broadway Morgan Stanley building. In addition, the site is within a few blocks of the nearest trolley station. Since 2000, 7 CUPs for offsite alcohol sales have been issued within a quarter mile of the project site. The building permit for the tenant improvements for Sprouts was issued in June of 2024. The campus at Horton redevelopment itself is currently under construction, and the building permits for the campus were issued ranging from 2022 to 2023. Here you'll see the 7 conditional use permits that were issued since 2000. One of which is Jimbo's Naturally, the grocery store that was previously located at the tenant space that Sprouts will be residing. Jimbo's Naturally closed during the construction for the campus at Horton, and the permit expired at the same time. Here you'll see the floor plan for the Sprouts. You'll notice that the alcohol display area is approximately 2% of the store's retail floor area, approximately 200 square feet of a fraction of the 14,760 square foot retail floor area. This retail floor area does not include the back of house services. The grocery itself will sell a wide range of products such as the bakery goods, produce, a meat counter, seafood, prepared foods, coffee and tea, cheese, vitamins, pet foods, and household goods. The alcohol sales will be a fraction of the services and goods offered at the Sprouts. You'll notice the 2 entrances proposed. The primary entrance to the Sprouts will be at, you'll see on the lower end of the map there. The figure, it's the primary entrance on the 2nd floor to the campus interior. And the second entrance is the set of elevators you see in the top left side of the screen that exit to 1st Avenue. There are 3 requested deviations for this project. The first request is deviation for the minimum container size for wine and distilled spirits from no less than 750 milliliters to no less than 370 milliliters, or multiple unit quantities multiple unit containers totaling at least 375 milliliters. The second request to a deviation is for the minimum container size for malt beverage products from no less than a 6-pack of 12-ounce containers totaling at least 64 ounces to single containers with no minimum. The third request for deviation is a deviation for the sale hours from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. to be consistent with the store's hours of operation. The primary use shall continue to be a grocery store for the length of the tenancy. The changes use shall be reviewed and approved by the city. As previously noted on the slide showing the floor layout, the alcohol sales area will be less than 10% of the store's retail floor area. The SDPD conditions requiring access to video surveillance and proper state training for employees responsible for alcohol sales is one of the a few of the conditions listed. The permittee shall respond to neighbor complaints within 24 hours. Any issues with nuisance will cause a re-review or revocation. Here you'll see displayed the rendering of the site. And you can see on the figure here, the entrance on the second level to the main part of the campus on the bottom right. The Downtown Community Planning Council voted 14-0 to recommend approval with conditions on September 18th, 2024. And the San Diego Police Department also recommended approval with conditions which are incorporated into the draft permit. The staff recommends approval of this conditional use permit number 3292604. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and with that, just want to open up public comment on this project. Do we have any speakers who would like to speak in opposition of this project? Seeing none. Are there any speakers in favor of this project?
Hi, my name is
Okay,
Terry
and I'm
Dickow.
seeing none as well. So with that, I'll close public testimony. And I primarily have a couple clarification questions for you. First off, I was looking at the expiration date that's listed here under standard condition of approval number 1. It is stating that the permit must be utilized by December 18th, 2027. I believe that should include that 10-day appeal period from January 3rd, 2025. So this should be January 3rd, 2028. Thank you. And then the other question I have, it is regarding those deviations that are proposed. So the first two I was looking at that, from my understanding, and please clarify me, or correct me if I'm wrong, but that the condition or the deviation requested for minimum container size for wine and distilled spirits, the requirement is for no less than 750 milliliters, but the proposal is for, something less than that, it's at 375. Was that established through precedent and it was found appropriate by SDPD or the police department?
So there was a CUP issued for the future Whole Foods in May of 2024. And part of the conditions for that CUP were the 375 milliliter deviation. That CUP was approved with that condition. Additionally, the SDPD did include the same language saying a minimum of 375 milliliters in their list of conditions. and provided their recommended approval.
Okay, got it. And then I don't have an issue with with the sale hours. I see that, the police department did, find that or recommend that as a condition as part of their review. But for the minimum container size for malt beverage products, I see that the proposals to allow for single container sales. I didn't see that as a condition from San Diego Police Department or any background information for that item. So can you
Correct.
speak on that?
Sure. Because the request is for a single container, no minimum size, we did not include the condition specifying a
Okay.
size of container. And this was also one of the items that was addressed in the CUP from May of 2024.
Okay,
And similarly, they did not include the language stating the explicit single use, no minimum in, in the permit itself. It was wasn't listed as a condition.
okay. And I think to add to that, we have from SDPD, Benjamin McCurry. Mr. McCurry, would you like to respond to that question as well?
Hi, good morning, Your Honor. Development Services is currently working on modifying and or removing some of the municipal codes that are outdated from, I believe, the late 80s or early 90s for these conditions. And that's what we worked through for the Whole Foods. Oh, so sorry.
That's all right.
We worked through for the Whole Foods that got approved earlier. So there is a current, they're currently working on a 1472 to remove or modify those conditions.
Okay,
That's why that we propose these conditions for the current state of the city. And the reason why you don't see any single sales mentioned in my report, because the alcohol license itself and or CUP allows for single sales unless it's conditioned. Just to clarify that.
so unless it's conditioned, okay.
Correct. Then if there's no condition preventing it, then it's automatically authorized for single sales.
Okay. Okay. Would it be appropriate to have that as a condition of approval in the permit itself that lists its deviations? I don't know if that's something that,
Again, trying to follow the precedent from the CUP in May, they did not include it explicitly as a condition.
okay,
And again, I guess to his point, if it's not listed as a condition, then there isn't a requirement to follow the
okay,
minimum
Okay.
listed.
okay, perfect. So I just want to ensure that it was an appropriate condition. And if it needed to be included as a condition of approval, since I didn't see that included in here as well. So, okay, perfect.
Thank you.
So that's all the clarification I needed. Let me just double check here. We talked about the expiration date as well. Okay, perfect. And with that, I have no further questions and we'll proceed forward with staff's recommendation for approval of this project. So the information contained in the downtown FEIR, State Clearinghouse number 20030410001, and the CAP FEIR reflect the independent judgment of the City of San Diego as lead agency. A downtown consistency evaluation was completed for this project under CEQA section 15162 that concluded that the environmental impacts of the project were adequately addressed and is within the scope of the development program evaluated in the downtown FEIR and CAP EIR. There are no further environmental documentation required under CEQA. I can make all the findings necessary to approve project number PRJ 1115855, conditional use permit number 3292604, subject to the conditions contained in the staff report. This decision is final unless appealed to the Planning Commission. Thank you. And with that, that concludes the final hearing officer meeting of the year. Thank you all. And thank you for staff for being on. We appreciate you and hope you all have a nice holiday season.